do, baby boo? Welcome, guys, to the 30-minute podcast. Happy New Year! It is 2024. How did you guys ring in the new year? Were you in the house of worship? Were you in the clubhouse? Or were you at home? How did you enter 2024? Let me know, right? But Happy New Year once again. Yeah, 2023 really flew by, if you ask me. It flew by really quickly. I missed all the craziness that happened in 2023, but here we are, 2024. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, things will get better. It's so hard to say that, especially when you live in a country like Nigeria. But hopefully, by God's grace, things will get better. It will be a pleasant, smooth, healthy, fulfilling, fruitful year for us all in Jesus' name. Amen, right? Speaking of the new year in 2024, that's what this episode is going to be about. I'm basically going to talk about what my plans are for 2024 according to like 9 parameters, right? And I got the idea for this from a video on YouTube by Ali Abdaal, and the name of the video is How to Make 2024 the Best Year of Your Life. And early on in the video, he introduced something called the Wheel of Life, which is, I think, a concept he got from someone else. And basically with it, he looks at 9 parameters through which you can evaluate or plan your year. And those parameters are, as I draw them up, or as I draw the image up on my phone real quick. Here we are. Number 1, family. Number 2, friends. Number 3, growth. Number 4, money. Number 5, mission. Number 6, body. Number 7, mind. Number 8, soul. And number 9, romance. I'm going to modify that slightly and change soul to faith, right? Because I can't evaluate my life or my plans for a year without including faith in that, especially seeing that as I am a man of faith. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on this episode. I'm just going to talk about my plans for 2024 based on these 9 parameters from the Wheel of Life, taken from Ali's video. You guys can do this exercise as well, especially if you've been meaning to sit down and put pen to paper regarding the things you want to do in 2024, or how you want to just attack the year, so to speak. Okay, so before we do dive into it, guys, if you're listening to this podcast on an audio/podcast platform, thank you. Do know that this episode exists also in video form on YouTube. I think this year I'll also start uploading the video version on Spotify, because Spotify apparently can also take video. I've never watched a video on Spotify. I'm not even on Spotify. I shouldn't be saying that, but I'm not on Spotify, but I think I'll subscribe to it. I'll try it out for like a month. But my point is, there's a video version of this episode. So if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, you might want to check this out on YouTube. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, you know the drill, right? Please do like this video by clicking on the like button, and subscribe to this channel by clicking on the black subscribe button. It is a brand new channel, sort of. I think the channel is less than 2 months old. I'm still trying to grow the numbers. Regardless of how old the channel is, I'm always trying to grow the numbers. So please subscribe, please like, and please share this episode with anyone who you feel will benefit from it. That said, let's dive into it. Number 1, family. I think how I can do better in family life, or with family life, is that I can perhaps appreciate my siblings and my parents more. Reach out to them a bit more frequently to find out how they're doing. I didn't do that much last year in 2023, so I could do more of that. Maybe fortnightly or weekly, checking in on them. My dad, he started doing something in 2023 that used to kind of bother me. Like, he'd go for like a party, or he's very into his church and everything, Anglican church and whatnot, and he'd take pictures with some of the priests and whatnot, and he'd just send me random pictures of him at events, saying, oh, this is me and this person, this is me at this place. And I'm like, dude, okay. And so but it's cute and it's nice, and I would tell myself that, look, I appreciate these things now, right? Because I have friends who their parents aren't around anymore, and they'd give anything to receive unsolicited text messages or pictures from them on WhatsApp. You get me? So I may try and do that in 2024, sending particularly my parents, pictures or updates of things that are going on in my life or places that I'm at, just to keep them informed with what's going on in my life. And parents, if they like attention, and not to mention unsolicited attention. So yes, so that's one way that I can do better with family life. I'm also appreciating my siblings a bit more, just checking in on them. I think they do listen to the podcast once in a while. What's up, guys? So yeah, when I reach out randomly just to check in on you, you know that I'm not just ticking off a box. Obviously, I care about you. I love you. And, I'm just trying to be a better brother. So, yes, yeah, indulge me. So, yes, these are the ways that I plan on improving in my family life. Basically, appreciating my family more. I don't have a family of my own in terms of like a wife and children. So, it's the family I was born into that I'm talking about right now. And yeah, that's that. About that, as far as that is concerned. Moving on to friends. Yes, this is an interesting one. Now, with friends, we have three subcategories. We have we have new friends, right? In terms of me making new friends in 2024, how that's going to happen. And then we have existing friends. And then we also have making male friends. New friends. In 2023, I did make a few new friends. Shout out to a few of them. I met Eki Ogumbor, in early 2023, we were both on a panel. We have a mutual friend, Ike, and he invited us to be on a Bella Niger panel in February of 2023. Jola Ayeye was also on that panel. It was a great session at Africa Next, and that's where I met Eki, right? And we've just kept in touch ever since. And Eki is an awesome person. She's very supportive. She's such a light, and she's such a bright person. If you know Eki, you know what I'm talking about. So, she became a friend last year. I have another friend who I met on Instagram who isn't in Nigeria. She's overseas, but she came to Nigeria on holiday at one point. Shout out Zell. So she became a friend as well. And I noticed those are just two of the many friends I made in 2023. And I've noticed that those organic friendships, the ones that you never like, that just happen. You don't like intentionally try and say, okay, this person, I want them to be my friend. They just kind of happen organically. You meet someone and you just keep talking with them, and next thing you know, you're friends, right? I like that type of friendship, right? And I had a few of those in 2023, and I want to try and let that happen, or see if that can also happen again in 2024, right? So shout outs to the friends I made in 2023, particularly Eki and Zell. Zell is she's such a trooper, and I appreciate her so much. Zell, you know why I'm laughing. Zell, my friend. So Zell listens to the podcast, and whenever I drop an episode or I post on my stories that a new episode is out, Zell hits me up and says she'll try and listen to it, maybe on her way to work, or when she does listen to it, she'll send me a picture of her watching the episode on YouTube or something. I really do appreciate Zell, and she's a fantastic person. Moving on, so from new friends so that's how I plan to make new friends in 2024. Existing friends, right? Because we always have a tendency, when you talk about friendship, people tend to talk about meeting new people or making new friends. We forget about the friends we currently have. And I want to do more in terms of nurturing the friendships I already have. And last year I did something where I was kind of unknowing to me at the time. I was performing friendship audits. I was trying to evaluate where I stood with some of my friends, or the level of friendship I had with my different friends. I wanted to know if some friends I had were friends that you just keep at arm's length, or the kinds of friends that you draw in close, or that, the kind of friend that if you're in a squabble in the middle of the night or you have an emergency, is this person the kind of friend that you call during those emergencies? So I looked, and I put a lot of friendships under the microscope in 2023, and I plan to do more of that in 2024. I like to know where I stand with people, so that I don't have unnecessary lofty expectations, kind of. So I will perform more friendship audits, and I made a big deal of the whole friendship thing at some point late last year when I conducted a poll. I can't remember what the poll was about on my Insta stories, but I know I was addressing men and I wanted men to vote in that poll, and I said so in the poll. But a lot of men who are friends of mine, they saw the Insta story, because you can see who sees your Insta stories, right? But they still didn't vote. And that really ticked me off. And I really went on a whole rant about the whole thing, right? But I feel like I was justified. So, in that manner, I'm going to put some friendships through the fire to see, just to know where I stand with them. And because I just, you understand, or sometimes when you have a higher estimation of someone than who they actually are, like you think they're closer to you, or they're as important to you as you are, or you are as important to them rather as they are to you. But then something happens and you find out, oh snap, I guess this person doesn't really mess with me like that, or this person doesn't care about me like that. And it's surprising because I care about them like this way, or in this way, but they, it's not reciprocated or whatever. So yeah, more friendship audits in 2024. I guess that's what I'm saying, with the existing friends. But also, I will nurture a whole lot of friendships by checking in, and maybe just generally checking in. Those phone calls or those text messages that, where you just send someone a message and you're like, I just thought about you. I was wondering how you're doing, and you crossed my mind. I hope you're okay. How is this thing that you talked about way back when? How is this person? How's your mom? All that kind of stuff. Yeah. I want to do that more intentionally in 2024, this year. Now, male friendships, right? I've noticed, well, I've known this for a while. I make friends with women a lot easier than I make friends with men. And it's not cause for concern that much, but it is cause for concern, kind of. I'd like to have more male friends, yeah? And the reason why I think I know why I don't have that many male friends, because and I'll try not to, this can be an episode on its own. This can be a podcast episode on its own, right? I'll try not to dwell on it too much, but I don't have many male friends because I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol, right? And men, when they gather, there's typically the average man, right? There's typically alcohol involved, right? So when you don't consume alcohol, you've like cut out like 50% of the potential male friends that you have, right? And which is a huge chunk. So I don't drink. I also don't for lack of a better word, I don't womanize. I don't chase women for recreation and stuff like that. Lots of men do. When men sit down and gather, they tend to talk about women a lot in not so flattering ways. And I'm not really cool with that. I can sit and talk about women for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But after that, the conversations tend to go in places that I'm not too comfortable with. And yeah, I'd rather not. So I don't womanize as well, like I said, and I don't have those conversations about women. So there's that. What else? I'm not really into sports, or particularly soccer, football. I'm not into it. I like tennis, right? I used to follow tennis, but all the tennis players that I'm a fan of, they're pretty much retired. Roger Federer, Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, what's his name? The other Swiss guy. But all the tennis players I liked, they've retired. And the point is, I haven't found new tennis players to like really support and get behind, and that will cause me to get back into the sport. So I'm not really a sports guy. So between not being into sports, not drinking alcohol, and not womanizing, I find it a bit hard to connect with other men. I do have male friends, right? And one example is my friend Presley from church. He's a man of faith like me. We go to the same church, and he's also into media, right? So we have things in common, and because of our faith and our way of life, we don't have not uncomfortable, but the kinds of conversation that do not honor God. So when I'm talking with Presley, our conversations rarely go into those things that neither one of us enjoy talking about, if you get what I mean. So people like Presley are rare. Men like Presley are rare in terms of people I can connect with on that level. So yeah, in terms of 2024, I think I need to find more people like Presley. I do have other male friends who are, Christians, but they're not that many, and they are kind of hard to find. So for 2024, I'm going to try and be intentional with finding male friends who are also men of faith, who I have things in common with. Yeah, because I just feel like it's necessary. I have way too many female friends. I'm not complaining, but I want to like increase or improve the numbers with the male friends. So that's what my plan is for friendship for 2024. So we've talked about two pillars thus far, right? Family and friends. Moving on to the third one, growth. As I glance at the time, wow, this is already 17 minutes, and this is meant to be the 30-minute podcast. Maybe it's going to be the 45-minute podcast today. Growth, right? I really want to have a growth mindset in 2024. I feel, and I've felt like this for a while, like I don't think big enough. Yeah. And Donald Trump had a saying, well, way before he, contested for presidency, when he was still just a businessman, he had a saying, you're going to think anyway. Why not think big? Yeah. You're going to think anyway. Why not think big? So I feel like I don't really, I limit, not necessarily myself, but I limit what God can do, in my life. There are films now, currently Funke Akindile's film, A Tribe Called Judah, is on its way to ₦1 billion. There have been movies from Hollywood that have done $1 billion. And I was thinking about it earlier today. No film that aims to reach ₦1 billion or $1 billion does so unintentionally. Whoever makes that film most likely has that dream or that goal that they want to cross that mark, that benchmark, and they work assiduously towards it, right? But these are very big. That's a very big number. ₦1 billion, $1 billion. It's huge, and it's almost like unimaginable. Yeah, that's the right word. It's almost inconceivable, right? For many people. But people conceive it and they achieve it. And even if you don't achieve it, you get close, right? So the point I'm making is I should aspire to much greater things and take the limits off God and not look at my own strength or my own limitations. I really want to think more expansively in 2024 regarding pretty much every aspect of my life, regarding love, yeah, regarding my finances, regarding my career, regarding this podcast, regarding so many things. So I'm going to be doing that more in 2024. That rhymed. And still on growth, reach and influence on my socials, higher numbers in terms of followers and views, vanity metrics, to be honest, which they're called, because those are just things that make you feel good, because for feeling good sake, they do translate, especially if you're like an influencer or something like that, they translate into pounds and, dollars and cents or naira and kobo, right? But yeah, I do want to, there's nothing wrong with wanting to grow your numbers on socials, your views, your following and all that. Capacity as well. Yes, this is also a big one. I want to grow in terms of my skills, in terms of my knowledge, and in my career. So those of you who watch my Nollywood reviews, you know that I've been learning French for a while. I want to take at least one French exam this year, 2024. And I've realized that I've been learning French without like particularly having a goal in mind. Like I haven't had something at the end of the tunnel. Like I want to learn French because I want to work at a bilingual company, or I want to move to a French speaking or travel to a French speaking part of the world or something like that. I'm just learning French for learning French apparently. So I want to expand my mind to accommodate big things that learning French can help me achieve. You get me? So that's growth. Money. Money. I have, I think, 5 streams of income currently. I have YouTube income from like AdSense, like when you guys click on the ads and watch the adverts on my YouTube content. So there's revenue from that. There's revenue from photography. I'm still a photographer. I did earn money from photography in 2023. Videography, I create video content and edit video stuff for clients. There's that as well. Sponsorships, I do sponsored videos and content here and there. Sometimes you guys know, sometimes you don't know because it's not obvious. So that's 4, right? And then 5, I earn a bit or a little from investments here and there. Now, I want to add at least one income stream to the 5 that I currently have. Now I'm smiling right now because I just talked about growth and wanting to think more or to think bigger, right? So why am I now saying that it's only one new income stream I want to add to my 5 income streams? Well, who knows? For now, let me just say I want to add one additional one. But aside from that, I also want to improve on the existing 5. The existing 5, I know that there's so much more that can be done in terms of earning more and earning more regularly from the existing 5. So I want to amp those up and also add one more to the 5 to make 6 income streams. For now, anyway, that's my mindset. I mean, I'd love to say I want to add like 3 or 4 new income streams, but I don't want to overextend myself, and I kind of still want to be realistic. yes, I do. I want to take the limits of God. I'm contradicting myself, aren't I? I want to take the limitations or the limits of God, but at the same time, I just you still have to be realistic. I mean, I can say I don't want to take the limits of God and say I want to add 10 additional income streams, but how realistic is that, right? So, yeah, you get my points. So, money, what else? Expense tracking. I In terms of expense tracking and investing last year, 2023, I was really terrible with that, with those two things. With expense tracking, I used to be really good at writing down or accounting for everything I spend my money on a daily basis. But in 2023, I was terrible with that, really, really bad. I wasn't tracking my expenses. And when you don't track your expenses, right, it's hard for you to know what's in the bank and what your disposable income is and what you have available to invest or do other things with, right? So I'm going to track my expenses way better this year. I'm also going to invest more. I didn't invest a lot last year, 2023. I really, really regret that. So I'm going to intentionally invest more frequently, and hopefully more of my income in 2024. Finally, regarding money, I do have a personal finance channel which has been virtually untouched for like the past 2 years. I've been meaning to get back on that, but it's just been a struggle because the financial system and just investing and the financial markets, honestly, especially since the downfall of agri-tech and crypto and all those things, as well, like around COVID and shortly after COVID, finance and money has just been very tricky for people. People have just been trying to survive, and it's been discouraged. And I think it's just that weight that has kept me from creating finance content. But ironically, I should have been, because it's in those tough times that people need advice, ideally, on how to get back on their feet financially. So I should have been creating finance content during that period, right? But in 2024, fresh start, I'm going to continue or start again with my finance content, and I really pray to God. I was going to say fingers crossed, but that's not. Let me lean on God rather than crossing my fingers. God willing, God so kind, and by His grace, right, I will be able to get back on that in a big way, and even if it's in a small way, but I will be able to get back on that frequently or regularly. So that's money. Mission, which is number 5. To be honest, I need to ponder on that a whole lot more. I can't really say I know what my mission is in life. Yeah, and that sounds weird, but maybe I do, but I just don't know how to put it into words. But I saw that one on Ali's Wheel of Life thing, and I was like, what is my mission in life? Anyway, so yeah, I don't have an answer for that. But so that's homework. That's something that I'm going to deliberate on. And maybe in future, I'll drop an episode on how to identify your mission in life and have a vision and mission statement for yourself. It's worth doing and it's worth looking into. But moving on, number 6, body. So yeah, exercising daily. Sit-ups, jumping jacks, all that good stuff. So I'm not a member of a gym, and I don't think I need to join a gym per se. Especially if I'm able to work out at home. I work out at home every other morning, but in 2024, I want to work out every morning or at least every day for at least 10 minutes. Because if I can work out for 10 minutes every day, in a week, that's 70 minutes worth of exercise. And some people go to what's it called, the gym, maybe once or twice a week, and combined they do less than an hour. But if I'm able to do at least 10 minutes every morning at home, that's over an hour cumulatively in a week. Plus, I feel like when it comes to things like exercise, frequency, and being regular, it counts a whole lot more. It counts a lot anyway. It really does count a lot. Plus, I started swimming. I started swimming late last year. I took swimming lessons, so I can swim now. And swimming in itself is like a full body workout, from what I'm told. And yes, so that as well, in terms of body and exercise, maybe at least once a week, I want to do that. I'd also like to gain weight. I've been wanting to gain weight for a while, but I don't think that'll happen until I get married. And I add that weight that married people always gain, shortly after they tie the knot. So I may not gain weight, but I would like to gain weight this year. I also want to drink more water. So that's body. Exercise, drink more water, add a little bit more weight. Mind is number 7. I'd like to set out a few minutes every day to just think, to think about what I'm thinking about, you know, and to just, because so many things just go unattended to, because life can get so busy. We can get so caught up with the mundane things or the day-to-day things, and we overlook certain things that shouldn't be overlooked. So I want to set out some time on a daily basis where I just think about stuff. Yeah. So that will help, and I think it will help me have a more sound mind. If I'm thinking clearly, I'm thinking about things I need to think about. Yes, also less screen time, spending less time on like my devices, like my laptop and my phone. I want to do that in 2024, or less, basically have less screen time or spend less time on my phone, like I said, and my laptop in 2024, so as to rest my eyes and also to think, like I said, and to clear my mind, because that too can very easily become a distraction, especially when you find yourself on social media most of the time. And if I'm being honest, if I'm on my phone, it's most likely that I'm on social media. I'm not doing anything that particularly edifies me or empowers me, right? Now, number 8, which on Ali's Wheel of Life was soul, I'm converting that to faith/soul, right? And the first thing under faith for me is I want to improve my relationship with God through prayer and Bible study. I think that's a recurrent thing, right? Every year we want to get closer to God. But yeah, so that's number 1. I want to spend more time praying and more time reading my Bible. Personal ministry. For a while in 2023, I asked myself that what is my own ministry, right? I became a worker in my church in 2023. I joined the production department, and so that is service for God, right? But honestly, it feels more like service for a church in terms of making church function properly, in terms of the broadcast and people getting to watch the service and all that, or the services and all that. Which is cool. But I also want there to be something that I'm doing for God, like soul winning, kind of, right? So I'd been thinking about that a lot in 2023, and in 2024, this year, I want to identify what my personal ministry is, and I feel like God has really been laying it on my heart to like speak to men, because, and I've said it before on this podcast, I feel like there's a serious gap for men, or where men are concerned. We don't seem to be, in life and in the world these days, there just doesn't seem to be men that are just moving things forward in the home or in society or in government or in the economy, and particularly in marriage. Men just seem to be quite ill-equipped these days, and I don't think there are enough people addressing the things that the challenges men are facing and the gaps that men are experiencing in their lives, be it in their careers or in their relationships and things like that, especially from the church or from religion. Academia and business and all that, they do one or two things to help men scale up and skill up and just step up, right? But I don't know if the church is doing enough things to help men step up. So yeah, I think that's where my ministry will lie, and I think with even this podcast, I want to try and address that and just help men find meaning in life, I guess, and identify the things they need to identify and the things they need to work on in order to be better men for society, for community, and for their spouse and for their families, right? So I will be seeking God's face a lot more concerning that and just working on that. I think, men's ministry, so to speak, is where my calling is, or my ministry will be in 2024. And yeah, that is something I'm going to try and address more, particularly, like I said, with this podcast. For example, I don't know if there's like a Christian, like men's podcast, a podcast for Christian men, to help Christian men like navigate life and navigate faith and all that for several other reasons. Yeah. So in God's army, where am I? Who am I? So I'm trying to identify that, or I'm going to try and identify that more and more in 2024. And not just identify it, but also walk in it, because I don't want to spend the whole year trying to identify what my calling is or how God can use me. I want to identify what tool I am in God's hand and then function in that capacity for the rest of the year and maybe even beyond. Moving on to the final one. Oh, wow. Romance and love. Okay, what I put down. I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you guys. That's why I'm laughing. I don't. I think I'd like to take time off romance and love this year in 2024 because 2023 was quite rocky. It was full of ups and downs, love and relationship wise. I was there are highs and lows. Let me put it like that. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to really talk about what love and relationship stuff was like for me in 2023 on this podcast. But let me just say that there was somebody for a majority of the year that I was interested in, but things were just quite topsy turvy, and it was a bit that kind of stuff. It tells on you, right? The emotional weight of it, and it's just a lot of back and forth, and you feel tired when it's all over, and you're not in a hurry to get back into that kind of ring again. Where you're having those those jousts or those boss those. I don't know what to call it a battle, but the whole back and forth of dating and everything that comes with it. It's demanding and it consumes one's energy. And I think I want to use 2024 to rest and to how do they say it whenever someone is heartbroken? I want to work on me. I want to work on me for 2024. That's not to say that if love should show up, or I should meet someone and we hit it off, that I won't seize that opportunity. If that happens, then fine. I'll try it out, but intentionally on my own, I don't think I'm going to be actively what's going on in my throat. I don't think I'm going to be actively pursuing anyone in 2024. I'm going to spend most of it doing all these aforementioned things, in terms of like growth and my faith journey and making new friends, all that stuff. So that's the thing. Those are the things I'm going to be focusing on or spending my time doing. I will try and pray about my future spouse. I don't do that, and that's something that we're always encouraged to do. To pray for your future spouse wherever they are, and and pray for your marriage even though it hasn't happened. So there's nothing wrong with that. So I want to start doing that in 2024, even though I'm not seeing anyone. So I want to do that. What else? Oh, I want to spend more time identifying the kind of man that I am and the kind of partner / husband that I want to be, and also the kind of woman that I want to be with, or that I want to marry. Because, something I discovered last year in terms of romance and relationships is that, and I figured out a few things that actually mean a lot to me in a relationship, like accountability and vulnerability and integrity and being open. But these days, people find it so hard to be vulnerable and to open up with one another, because largely for the fear of emotional manipulation. Because when you open up to someone, they now have this sensitive information about you, and there's that fear that they could potentially use that information against you, right? So there's a lot of that going around. So that's, I think, why people aren't vulnerable with each other. But I realized that I'm not going to let that hold me back from being vulnerable with who I want to be with. And I would like them to be vulnerable with me as well. And if they can't be vulnerable with me as well, then I don't think that it can work. So yes, and accountability as well. Owning up to when you're wrong, or to mistakes and things like that, it means a lot to me, and I don't see why it should be a bad thing. And integrity. So yeah, it's in the course of getting to know somebody in a relational sense, right, that I realize that these things matter to me, and I really do require them in a relationship. So yes, so I'm going to try but ironically, it's when you're in a relationship that you learn these things about yourself. When you're alone, you will not learn these things about yourself. So ideally, I should actually get in the water if I want to actually learn how to swim, or learn things about swimming. It's not outside the pool that I'm going to learn how to move inside the water, if I can use that weird analogy. But yes, I'll try and figure out what I can figure out about myself and the kind of person I am and the kind of relationship I want with a future spouse while I'm single in 2024. But like I said, actively, I don't think I'm going to be pursuing anyone actively this year. So yes, guys, those are the 9 pillars or parameters in the wheel of life and how I am going to be tackling 2024 regarding family, friends, growth, money, mission, body, mind, faith, and romance. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode of the 30-minute podcast, which is today the 40-minute podcast as I look at the timer on the camera. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope 2024 is a fantastic year for you and for me, and that we don't repeat the mistakes of 2023, and that we learn from any mistakes that we may experience throughout the year, but we may have way more wins in 2024 than we have losses in 2024. And may God grant us the grace, the strength, the wherewithal, and the foresight, and once again, the grace, to handle everything that comes our way in 2024, be it good or bad. And may we continually have causes to give him glory, to give him honor, and to just rejoice in all the things that he's doing in our lives and in the lives of those that we love. And like I said, may 2024 just be a blessed, uplifting, and fantastic and magnificent year for us all in Jesus' mighty name. Thank you guys once again for listening. Rate this podcast if you're listening on an audio platform. Like the video if you're watching this on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel as well. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.